All right, family. Peace. This is Dark Vader, and welcome to part two of 10 Top Rules to Surviving Prison. We give you a little recap, 1 through 5. Number 1 would be no gambling, no owing people or being owed. Rule number 2, stay away from drugs, no drug use or drug dealing. Number 3, don't partake in any homosexual activity. Number 4, no snitching. Remember, snitches get stitches. Number 5, never underestimate anyone. Never. Number 6 rule, choose your associates wisely. Why do we say this? In prison, you are judged by the company you keep. It's like that in society also, but more so in prison. Um, they say birds of a feather flock together, or as I would say, you never catch eagles flying with seagulls. So you have to watch who you associate with. You might be associating with a pedophile that you didn't know they were pedophiles. I mean, I've seen it. Guys have rape cases where they rape women or kids and they keep it on the low. And you don't know that you're associating with this type of individual. And then once it gets out that, okay, this guy is a rapist or a pedophile, and then you're associating with this gentleman or this female, it can turn bad. And it's like an asterisk on your name. Okay? Also, you never know what other people are into. You never know. So a guy might be he might be a sneak thief, a robber. Someone who's aggressively extorting people, and people might come after him. And by you being with them, you can be touched. Because usually, like, if they do hit someone and he's with someone, usually that individual gets hit just because that's just how it is in prison. So you want to judge your company wisely. You want to choose your associates very wisely. You want to choose someone who doesn't have the prison mindset, who is thinking outside of the box, as we say. Thinking outside of the box, thinking outside of prison. You don't want to associate with someone who's always getting into trouble, because that can also spill over to you. Just remember, smart is the new tough. That's it. Smart is the new tough. So prison is not physical. It's mainly, we would say, 90% mental, 10% physical, if that. Maybe a smaller percentage on the physical aspect. But yeah, smart is the new tough. So you want to be smart. Okay? Choose your associates wisely. Just don't associate with anyone, even if they are friendly. A lot of wolves come in sheep clothing, especially in prison. Okay? So, number 7. And I have to say this. The COs are not your friend. They're not your buddies, your pals, your compadres, your amigos, your homie. The COs are not your friends. Don't get it confused because they smile. They may give you a little privileges more than the other. They might even look out for you. They might even help you, which is their job, actually. To actually help you, if you don't know. That is their job to an extent. But don't get it confused. They are not your friends. They are part of the administration. They are a part of a oppressive regime, as we would say. They're not your friends. Don't get it confused. Give you a little story. I know this individual, I used to work in the kitchen with him. I forgot the guy's name. But anyway, this guy will go out of his way to feed the COs. Now, we're in the kitchen, so we have a little more privilege than the rest of the population when it comes to eating. And a lot of times, the civilian staff from that are not incarcerated, of course, they would bring in certain spices, certain meats and vegetables that we couldn't get in prison, and we would chef up for everybody that's in the kitchen, and that would be including, the staff, the civilian staff, and this individual will go out of his way to feed certain COs. And this guy actually thought that these guys were his friends. Like, he was so delusional. And it's almost like Stockholm Syndrome, where you start thinking that the people who have you incarcerated, who are holding you, who are overseeing you, are your friends. You start identifying with them. And that's what this guy was. He was identifying with the COs. He actually said, my only friend is such and such, whatever the correctional officer's name was. And we was looking like, what the hell? Of course, he was a snitch. He's told on me one time. We got into altercation about that. But that's neither here nor there. One of the COs, he was calling his mother, yeah, that's my mom. And we were just like blown by the severity of his Stockholm Syndrome, And then he got into an altercation, moral of the story, he got into an altercation later on, and the COs proved not to be his friend, But he was so delusional, he thought because they looked out for him, he told them certain information, they would, look out for him. He thought they were his friends. But no, at the end of the day, they turn you to the wolves when they can't use you. Or when they get tired of your bullshit, So number 7, COs are not your friends, all right? Remember that. If you ever incarcerated, which I hope you never be incarcerated, okay? Number 8, okay, this is a good one. Number 8, do not get caught up in the TV or telephone politics of prison. I've seen a lot of individuals get stabbed, cut, beat up over the TV and the phone. I've seen guys about to go home and catch a new charge over the TV and the phone, which is crazy because the TV and the phone was there before you got there, and it's going to be there after you. Of course, you hear individuals talking, no, it's the principal. No, it's not. That's not yours. I've seen guys like actually get cut with scalpels by being on the phone, not letting individuals get on the phone, just hogging up all the time on the phone. And, people get tired of that. You can only push people so far. I've seen individuals and groups of individuals try to control the TV and the phone, and it never lasts long. Because when those guys get packed up and moved out, because someone's going to either snitch on them or someone's going to pop off, eventually they're going to get moved out, go to the box. Then it's going to be a whole nother group of individuals or individual that's going to try. It's just a cycle that, you see over and over about people trying to control the TV and the phone. Don't get caught up in that. You talk to your peoples once in a while. You might want to look at some TV, but don't get caught up in that. What you should be doing, you should be focusing on you. That's what you should be doing. Not the TV or the phone. Those are distractions that can get you into a lot of trouble if it's misused. All right? So number 9. This is also a good one. Number 9. Stay active, mentally and physically. A lot of people, they're on autopilot in prison. They're like the Walking Dead. They're zombies. They're on autopilot. The slightest little distraction, they'll take that just to escape their reality. But the thing is, you have to stay active. So me, I would read a lot of books. I went to college. I was into yoga. I worked out. I stayed active mentally and physically. I stayed around individuals who are highly intelligent, who forced me to think. Um, and that's what helped me get through my bid. I did 12 and a half years. What helped me get through was being active mentally and physically. Um, I would say physically, you have to stay active because an altercation can happen at any time. If you ask a sincere individual that's in prison and you ask them why do they work out, most of them will say, to get my body in shape. Others will say because in case of an incident, if something pops off, I want to be able to give somebody an ass whooping, or at least be built to take an ass whooping. I was locked up in correctional facilities where the police brutality was serious. I mean, they were killing individuals left and right, abusing them, sending brothers to the hospital. You know, a lot of us would work out hard. I mean, heavy, because the correctional officers are 6'6", 6'7", 280-pound hillbilly that his only interaction with black and Latinos is through prison, And his legacy is the prison. His grandmother worked at the prison. His grandfather worked at the prison. All his aunts, uncles, and cousins all worked at the prison. So you have to be mentally and physically in shape to deal with these devils, man. And like I said, a lot of these correctional officers are 6'6", 6'5", 300 pounds, huge. Size 15 shoe, farmers chewing on tobacco, and they will break you. So a lot of us worked out. We lift a lot of heavy weight. We boxed. We practiced martial arts on the low, somewhere with a group of individuals, somebody looking out. Just so if we get into an altercation with other prisoners or correctional officers, mainly correctional officers to COs, that we would have a fighting chance, So staying active physically is very important because they'll try to put their hands on you. They will. And it could be the smallest one. I've seen women walk up to grown men and smack the shit out of them. Spit in their face, kick them in their nuts while they're getting beat up. It's like you have to be built to either give an ass whooping or take one. So this is why we stayed active physically and mentally. Like, you're at war. You're always on a heightened sense of urgency. Like, it can happen at any time. Adrenaline always flowing. You can walk out into the yard and not know what's going on, but know that something is going on by the energy. You learn to pick up on energy when you're in prison. Senses that you might not learn to use while you're out here in regular society. In prison, you learn to pick up on that. You learn when you meet people, you can kind of gauge them and see what type of individual they are just off, first, meet, first glances, seeing their energy, see how they act, how they interact with other people. It's like, okay, nah, I can't mess with him. I might not never talk to him at all, but it's just, you learn how to work with certain senses. Okay, so number 9, stay active, mentally as well as physically. It's very important. You are in a war zone. Like I said, mentally and physically, they will come at you. Okay. Number 10, mind your business. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. If it doesn't affect you going home or affect you directly, bruh, sis, Mind your business. I've seen individuals get hurt so bad from not minding their business. I see people get put in their place for not minding their business. Stay in your lane. That's another thing. That should be number 11. If we're going to say something, one of the rules of surviving in prison, staying in your lane. Don't try to be anybody that you're not, because it will be tested. No matter how tough you think you are, it's always somebody on a higher level that don't give a fuck. Always. You know? So mind your business. You wanna breeze through prison as smoothly as possible without being unscathed. You don't want to come home with no scars. You don't want to be, mentally challenged because of the prison. You want to get through prison. You want to do the time and not let it do you. Mind your business. Better yourself while you're in there. Find out what made you do what you did to get in there, if that's the case, because a lot of brothers and sisters, they're railroaded by the system. But yeah. So that's my 10 top rules to survive in prison. Hope you like it. I'm Dark Vader. This is Feel Free TV. Comment, like, subscribe. Thank you. Peace.